You are listening to Jazzy100.com.
Hi, I'm the Jazzy Man, and Toy Moore was born and raised in San Diego, California. She has been writing professionally since 1993, when her first story, Mean Moms, was published by a local newspaper. I spoke with her about her new book, and here's what she had to say. Okay, I'm on the telephone with celebrity author Toy Moore. And Toy, when did you write your first article?
I wrote my first article back in 1991. I wrote it for a small newspaper, the Precinct Reporter. It's a newspaper in San Bernardino, a family-owned newspaper, and they gave me my first opportunity of being published.
Wow.
And I made $10 whole. I cherish that. It wasn't even about the money. It was about the opportunity.
I hear you.
So I gave those newspapers out to everybody that would take one, just, excited about the opportunity and feeling so excited about someone accepting my work just helped me to stay on the path to keep writing. Felt like I was on to something good and doing the right thing.
Were you just out of high school?
I was not. I was a mom and a wife, and so I did it in between.
Wow.
Raising my family, taking care of my family.
Now, that's certainly admirable, and it's a quality that is a must in the business that you're in.
Yes.
So when did you write your first book?
I wrote my first book in 2001. Because after writing for newspaper journalism, I wanted to get into something that was a little bit more fun, and so I got into magazines, and to date I have over 300 bylines to my name, and written for articles in magazines such as Billboard, Upscale Magazine, and all kind of subjects from entertainment to medical to sports to just plain journalism. So, and then, got into writing my books in 2001 and wrote my first book, Mama Please Forgive Me, which addressed domestic violence.
Yes, let's talk about that because you had to actually do some research to write that book. Can you share on some of that research?
Yeah, some of the research was actually in my home growing up as a kid. My mother was a victim of domestic violence, and as a 5-year-old, seeing her being abused by my stepfather and not knowing where to turn to, who to talk to, or, afraid that if you run outside in the front yard, the neighbors are going to see you, and you call the police cars will show up, and they're going to see you, thinking like this as a 5-year-old, so just kind of went in my room and found myself hiding all the time and crying, and hoping that it would end. And so I found that when I wrote my first book, the characters of the children was really based on how I felt, seeing my mom being abused and not feeling like I can help her.
That is compelling, to say the least. Writing the book, did it help you at all to release some of those demons that maybe were still around, some of those memories that were still with you of that domestic violence?
It did, because as in many situations that are, hurting or harmful to people, if you have someone that you can talk to, which, a lot of times they consider domestic violence as a silent killer, because oftentimes men, women, whoever's being the victim, they don't like to share it with anyone. They're afraid, like I was. They hide things. And so my family learned about it, of course, later, because my mom, ended up in the hospital with, broken nose and black eyes and all that kind of stuff. And so, of course, the family found out about it, but you still kept it to yourself in the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, I discussed it with a couple of friends that I grew up with, like I haven't seen in 30-some-odd years, and they lived like next door and down the street from me. And I discussed it with them, like, say, 20-something, 30 years later, and they never even knew that it was going on in our household.
Wow.
So by me explaining it in my book, and explaining that it was me, my feelings on how I felt as a kid, it really did help to release that, because you just hold that kind of stuff to yourself. You don't want to share it with anybody, but it was good to release it and to be able to let victims know that you don't have to be a silent victim and just take the abuse, that there are organizations that will help you and people that you should feel comfortable to reach out to and get help.
What's the name of the book again, Toy?
The first one was called Mama, Please Forgive Me.
Did you provide information in the book for people who might be searching for answers or help in a similar situation that you encountered?
I did. I did not feel like you can write a powerful book with a story like that and not offer help to people. So what I did is I put internet links and phone numbers of a few domestic violence centers, and I actually got on the phone and called those centers and made sure that at the 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning hours that someone would answer the phones and would be able to guide victims to getting help. Some of the organizations would say that they're 24 hours, but then they would tell you, when I called them, they would tell me, well, we have an answering machine on and we'll get the call in the morning. Mm-hmm. So that's not going to help a victim at, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning who's being beaten, maybe run out the house and need somewhere to get to. So I put those numbers and internet sites so that people could, reach out and get help. Without maybe alarming the person who's abusing them, so that they can get away safely.
Yeah. Well, that took real journalistic chutzpah to go in depth like that. So, and the name of the book one more time.
It's called Mama, Please Forgive Me. And the reason why it was called Mama, Please Forgive Me, everybody's always asking me how you came up with the title, is because you did have the victim who made the wrong choice, and she ends up in jail.
The author that everyone is talking about, Toy Moore. You can order her books online by logging on to www.toymore.com. That's www.toymore.com. Support independent authors online. This has been a Jazzy 100 production.